Welcome to the Watering Hole. We're sitting down today with Miss Kaitlin Butts. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
We're doing great. Good. So we had you back. I don't know if you remember. We had you on back when you played at Born and Raised.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. So
yeah, I hope she remembers.
I hope she does too.
Y'all like posted reels from it, like and made me look like I was like Joe Rogan or something. It was cool.
Yeah, perfect. So we've upgraded a little bit. Since last time.
I can tell. It's awesome. It's great.
Yeah, we get complicated like every time. We're like, how much more complicated can we make this?
Yeah.
And we find ways.
I love it.
We were running a little bit behind today, too, so it was kind of good that everything else was a little behind.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. So what have you been up to since last time we talked?
Honestly, same. I released a single, Hunt You Down, last week. I can't believe that was just a week ago because it feels like it was a month ago. But that's kind of how it goes. Traveling, just going to show and trying to get new music out and get ready for the next phase. Yeah. For sure.
So the new single is a cover.
Yes.
And how did you pick that one to be the one?
So I've always loved that song. I love Kesha. I know like some people are like, Kesha, like that's such a random like artist like for a country singer to really love, but truth is I love listening to pop music. I think we talked about that a little bit. Grew up listening to Broadway music, whatever was on the radio. Broad range of like emo music, pop music, country, Shania Twain, everything. But Kesha was one of those that I just thought was so fun growing up. And you're 17 in your car, just like blasting songs like Dinosaur and TikTok. Like I think everybody loved Kesha and loved that song at one point. But I kind of stuck around as a big fan in her last album, Rainbow. She had a focus track, Rainbow, on it, but what didn't get a lot of attention, I feel like, was the rest of her album was very country and very folky. She has Dolly Parton featuring on it. She has a couple of folk, like songs that if I were to cover them, that they would be a country song. Yeah. She's a song called Bastards that I'm a big fan of, but Hunt You Down I felt like was something that I identified with pretty quickly. Listening to a love song, but it's like, if you mess around, I'll hunt you down. I felt like it was pretty on brand, and for this next album, it went with a theme that I'm trying to go for. So had to get that one out, and I really wanted to release that one first because it was a lot brighter, and I want people to know that there's like a brighter phase coming into. My last album was pretty dark and about sad stuff, and then I had Sad Yeehaw vibes, but I feel like that doesn't really showcase like everything that I do at my live shows. I've got lots of lively, like fun country songs, funny songs, and I kind of wanted to start off on the right foot and deliver some funny stuff first. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was showing him the cover. Yeah. Or the original, sorry.
Yeah.
He was like, I was not expecting that to be country at all.
I know, but it is. It sounds like a Johnny Cash song. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it's so good.
So I when he showed it to me originally, like I listened to your version first, and I'm like, I think it sounds really good. I think it fits like her vibe and everything. Yeah. I think it's good. It's a great.
Yeah, I didn't remake it into something that like it would sound like more like me. I copied the exact same thing that she did, but put my name on it.
Yeah, exactly. I think the whole thing just fits perfect. I think it's a great
Thank you.
single to put out,
Thanks.
But,
So what can you tell us about the rest of that album coming? Do you have a general time when that might come out?
I at least by the end of this year. Okay. That's all I can tell you. I've worked really hard on it. I recorded it in November. And so we're doing like a rollout plan. But I'm very excited. It's very like Oklahoma themed. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I think that folks will be happy, and I feel like I delivered on something that really encapsulates everything that I do. Now as an artist, as a songwriter, I'm really proud of the songs and who we got to play on it, who we got to sing on it, and what I did with it. I've been completely obsessed with it for the last couple of years and been a psycho about it. And I think I'm really proud of it, excited to finally start getting it out there.
Mm-hmm. How many songs are you gonna?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot more than 7.
We're trying to pull
I
it out.
I know. A lot more than 7. The last album, people's not complaint, but that was the biggest complaint was it ends too soon, and I was like, well, by God, we're going the opposite way this time. So I'm not going to say the exact number yet, but definitely a lot more than 7.
Yeah, for sure. So earlier you mentioned like your last album being like a little bit darker, like the whole theme of it and stuff. And so we started kind of really diving into like the last album that you put out. So I was going to ask you a couple questions about some of those songs.
Yeah.
So the first
you want to talk about my family? Is that what you're saying? Just kidding. You're like, yeah.
No, I was, but I'm not now.
So to preface this a little bit, we're going to be doing like a series on our channel where we dive into albums and like kind of break them down.
Yeah.
So this is part of that.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we might clip some of this and like put it in the album. And then we'll be like, hey, go listen to the full interview.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
So the first one that I had a quick question about was Jackson.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a playoff of June Carter and Johnny Cash's song.
Yes.
Like the from top to bottom. So what inspired you to kind of do like an alternative view of that song?
So I was driving. I took my grandma and my grandpa and my like 4 cousins in my 15 passenger van for spring break one year from Ardmore to Orange Beach, Alabama. I'm white knuckling it down the highway with my whole family. The whole family was in the car, and I'm just trying not to kill them. And my grandpa, he is this real tall, lanky dude who his knees cramp up a lot. And so my grandma kept like saying, we're gonna make a halfway point to Jackson to rest and take a break for the night. But my grandma kept peeping her head up to the front seat saying, y'all, I don't think with Papa, I don't think we're gonna make it to Jackson tonight. I was like, Grandma, we're gonna make it to Jackson. We're gonna make it to Jackson. And for whatever reason, I wrote it down because it reminded me of Johnny and June.
Yeah.
And then it was Johnny Cash's birthday, and I was thinking about, being in a relationship with Johnny Cash. I'm sure was, a God bless her. Like that, I'm sure that at times it was very hard. As being in love with an outlaw man, as much as it is being in love with any man, it is hard sometimes to be in love with someone who is a traveler, who's a wild card. And I was writing that from the perspective of someone who loves a rambling man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't think we're gonna make it to Jackson. Yeah.
So on that same album you have In the Pines, which is a cover as well. How did you come up with that cover?
So my mom, all the women in my life like have always just inspired me so much, but my mom has been the most. She's shown me the coolest music and always put me around the music that has transformed me as a songwriter and as an artist. But she always sends me songs that she wants me to cover. And, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, Mom, like maybe one day I'll look up what that is. But I was this was like probably 10 years ago that that I learned the song. It was for her 50th birthday. And I was like, I'm going to learn one of these songs on this list that my mom, I've written down every single one that she says, but I'm going to go through and figure out which one, I want to learn.
Hey guys, we want to tell you a little bit about Deadwake Archery Innovations. They got all kinds of awesome stuff. They create their very own custom designed CNC milled bows, and they do all kinds of crazy colors with the anodization. And you want to tell them a little bit more?
Yeah, so it is a Oklahoma State graduate. They're in Kansas, Oklahoma is where they're established. They do some great stuff, great killing machines for the water, honestly. And just go check them out. Thank you so much for Deadwake Archery Innovation for sponsoring this podcast.
And so for her 50th, I learned In the Pines, and I loved it so much. I learned all about, Lead Belly. I learned about Nirvana and just loved... I became obsessed with Kurt Cobain and who he was as a person and what he stood for, and I thought he was great. And then found out the history that it's like a 200-year-old song that nobody knows where it came from, but there's like thousands of versions of it. So it was something that I really became attached to and loved, and I think I wanted to cover it. And then I started playing it with my band. I played an acoustic for my mom and then played it with my band, and they're like, hell yeah, we want to play this song like at every show ever. Like it's Nirvana, of course. Exactly. Like they're all rock and roll dudes from Oklahoma. Like they love Nirvana. And so any chance that they can, rip it, they want to. And so do I. And so when it came to putting it on the album, the whole concept of the album is just like turmoil and a bad person that's just kind of screwed up everything. And at the end, I really just like wanted to kill him and know that like he's out of our lives. He's dead. He's dead to me. So we killed him in the song.
Wow. So
that's how I wanted to end it.
so the next thing I was gonna ask was like, is obviously there's a theme to the song. What would you categorize like the theme? Obviously it's a dark song, but you mentioned like a person being like kind of screwed up.
Yeah, I mean, for me, singing it from a woman's point of view, if you change the, the, oh my God, like the he and she and, oh my God, what is it? The pronouns, oh my God. If you change the pronouns from it, like, it changes the song looks like to me. And whenever it's a, where did you sleep last night? Like asking a man, I feel like, a lot of women have probably been cheated on and, some of them deserve to die. But yeah, I think that song, there's so many, I loved like creating my own version of it. I don't remember what your question is, to be really honest with you.
Yeah. I was also, I think I said song when I meant album at the same time, but I was like, when you go to put together an album that is like darker like that.
Yeah.
What would you say? You mentioned like I don't know if it's the full album is like kind of about a person or it was the theme.
It was just a chunk in my life that everything was just. I think for this next album, I've written things like to a theme, and I look back and I'm like, the theme of the last one was my life in this time period. I had someone who I love struggling with substance abuse. My mom was getting a divorce and leaving a situation of domestic violence. We were, through all of that, we're around our family so much more, and we're generational trauma starts, coming up through the floorboards, and so many different things were going on, and I was in a time where I was just writing to release music, and I had a publishing deal at the time, and so I was trying to just write as much as possible, and I wasn't really in a like artist space of releasing stuff yet, but I just was continuously writing, and those songs were so true to like what was going on in my situation, and also things that like I feel like are uncomfortable to talk about, but I feel like are so important to talk about. It felt like all those things, leaving a situation of domestic violence and drug abuse and cheating, and there's other things that went on that album. They're all kind of like touchy subjects, and I just like hate things that are off limits, and I hate the feeling of like the elephant in the room, and like we're not supposed to talk about it, but everybody knows somebody who's struggled with any of those things, if not all of them. And so really that whole, when it came to choosing the songs on the album, I had a couple of people say like, you need to put a happy song on there. I was like, fuck no. No, that will ruin it.
Yeah.
If I put How Lucky Am I on there, bippity bop, no. I'm not gonna brighten it up just to make it. That time in my life sucked. It was terrible. It was like a 6-year frame of just like trial after trial. God bless us all. It was so bad. And so that, that's what helped me like narrow it down, was like, no, this is what happened, and these are the songs exactly about each thing. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Thanks.
On a slightly brighter note here.
Yeah.
So we did a deep dive on your Instagram.
Oh my goodness.
So I got 3 pictures here, and we'll put them up on screen, and I just want you to like explain kind of what was going on. So here's the first one.
Oh yeah, that's actually in Stillwater.
Yeah.
That's in Stillwater.
Wait, we saw the Cowboys in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And we was like, oh, I bet that was here.
Yeah, that was Stillwater. I can't remember what year was that.
2013.
So that I would have been probably just graduated from college. I got an associate's degree at ACM at UCO, and I was probably just hanging out tailgating with my friends. I always came here to Stillwater on the weekends. Going to college in Oklahoma City, you either went to the Wormy Dog. I either went to the Wormy Dog with my fake ID, or I went to Stillwater and hung out and used my fake ID here. But I really loved I really loved OSU. I love Stillwater so much. Everyone here is so much like, sorry, Norman, but like everyone was so much more kind to me as someone who wasn't in a sorority, as someone who was a country singer, as someone who just like, existed. Everyone was very welcoming here, and I just gravitated towards the people here, and always wanted to tailgate. I wanted to like be someone that just like did it every single weekend, and so I would just, bring my handles of Fireball and walk around with them.
So our second picture here is here as well. This is actually at Tumbleweed.
That was opening, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was opening for Wade Bowen. That was the first time I played here, and that was a cool night.
How many times have you actually played at the Tumbleweed?
Not very many. I would say probably like 4 or 5.
Really?
Yeah. Well, if I'm being really honest, I don't really care. I used to date one of the general managers here, and then when we broke up, I stopped getting booked here. So that's why there was a gap. That's the T, and that's the T. You know.
I think so.
You think so?
We'll talk about
Y'all are blushing. Why are you blushing?
Well, howdy, folks. Welcome down to Bad Brad's Barbecue. Hey, stop looking at Gus. Stop it. All right, folks, you see here, Jagger's trying to throw some cornhole, and he just can't get her done.
I just cannot hit anything today.
I see that, Jagger.
Man, you gotta have some bad brads. Play that crap when you're hungry.
Vernon always coming in clutch with the barbecue. Oh, yeah, look at that bite, folks. All right, Jagger, let's see it. Look at that. Right nose.
Bad Brad's, where you can't help but be good.
Like Jagger said, folks, Bad Brad's Barbecue, where it's good to be bad.
Okay, our final one here is
Me and my yoga pants and Sperry's. Who am I?
In a tree.
that was
In a
2012.
tree.
That was a deep cut there.
That was outside of my apartment complex in Oklahoma City, just doing silly stuff. I just wanted to climb a tree. There's really not much to it. I lived in Bricktown, and so like I don't know, I'd always invite all my friends over to the house, and I'd go get Four Locos for all of us. There was one liquor store that only made me show my ID like one time, and so like we'd just go back to the same guy, and I'd buy like a ton of Four Locos for my friends and I. And I'd come back and be like, "I'm the Four Loco girl, remember me?" And
that's before they got banned, right? Or like before the first
oh yeah, it
initial
was
ban?
fully caffeinated,
Yeah.
and I would get the bendy straws for all of us, and yeah, so that was the product of probably some caffeine and liquor, which is not good for us.
That sounds very dangerous.
Yeah.
It sounds like you could end up in a tree if you.
Yeah, it gives you lots of energy, so.
Yeah, for sure. That's hilarious. So I was gonna ask about like your first album.
Yeah.
You had a Johnny Cash cover on that, and we were doing
Yeah.
a dive like
Yeah.
we do, and I saw you had God's Gonna Cut You Down, and we're like, listen, like this is awesome.
See,
So,
I've always been a fan of Karma,
yeah, yeah. I was just gonna ask you to like elaborate on like what made you choose that song, because it seems like a really unique song.
Yeah, I think I just really love the idea of karma, and that like people that are gonna like when people do you wrong, it's gonna take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Like what I mean, it's gonna come
Yeah.
back around and get them. I never. There are definitely people in this world who I would love to just take out. But the simple idea of karma and God, keep me from doing a lot of things. And, I just I love the comfortability of knowing that it really does come back around, and, God's going to cut you down.
So if God doesn't, or if you don't hunt him down, God's going to cut him down, right? That's how it works.
Yeah. Or I'm going to buy a gun and name her Karma. So.
That's great.
So the new album that's coming out we were talking about before, like the kind of Western graphic type stuff. Is that kind of the vibe of the new album?
Yeah,
or?
definitely. Think like Old West. Think that like that T-shirt could be like. I mean, you'll probably see like next week is literally like a music video that like we're doing. So, yeah.
I would hate for the Watering Hole
Yeah.
tea to make an appearance. But
Like it literally looks
Yeah.
like the scene that we used.
that's awesome.
Let's send you
When
an
does this
invoice.
come
It's
out?
not a big
Also,
deal.
when does this come out?
I'm not sure.
It can come out whenever.
Okay, because next week we're doing a music video for Hunt You Down on the 17th. Let's see. No, 22nd. But it's literally in front of like a saloon. We filmed we filmed at the place that they film like Django and Holes and a bunch of other like
Really?
shows and stuff. So it literally looks like an old saloon. It's really cool.
It sounds like we need to go there and take some like
Yeah.
podcast pictures.
Yeah, go to LA.
Yeah.
Hit up Universal.
Yeah, they'll let us ride it.
Yeah. They're like, we just need one picture.
We're with Kaitlin.
Yeah.
You guys
You
know
remember
us?
her.
Yeah.
So I saw a video on Instagram a couple days ago. You were loading up the van. Said you had your snacks. What is a road snack for Kaitlin Butts?
Right now, I love a gluten-free fig bar. I love bananas and peanut butter straight from the jar. I've been eating these protein chips called the Wild protein chips. There's 10 grams of protein per serving, and I love potato chips. Like, I will eat a full bag of them, but it's not
Like what flavor potato chips?
I love every kind. I love barbecue buffalo, salt and vinegar. Holy shit. My mouth is watering right now. Yeah, we haven't eaten since 8 a.m., so I'm dreaming of potato chips. What else is it's really just anything that, like, I love Skinny Pop just because you can eat a whole bag of it and it's like 42 calories and it's so good.
Yeah.
What else? Just like coffee. Just try anything to make me only have to stop once on the 10-hour drive. But if you watched my story or anything, you will see that I ran out of gas on the side of the highway the other day. Did y'all see that? Yeah. So that day, I was loaded up and my gas gauge is like screwed up right now. And I told the guys at Mercedes that it was screwed up, and they were like, it looked fine to us. Here's your car back. And I was just like, you guys just gaslit me. Like, it's broken. Do not. You're literally gaslighting me right now. The light is on, and I just put a full tank in it.
That's hilarious.
So I was trying to keep track. I was trying to do like gas math. I was like, my Jeep goes 500 and something miles on a full tank. Yeah. Surely this goes a little bit over 500 miles. Well, actually, it only goes 417 miles. And I had to pull over on the side of the road. And the sweet guy from Ken's Towing in Ozark, Alabama.
Shout out Ken's Towing.
Brandon Reynolds. He helped me on the side of the road, gave me some gas, and was so sweet. Shout out. But
there you go.
Road snacks and
That's a great story.
But I really try to not stop. Like, whatever I can do to just like not. I just don't like stopping at gas stations. I don't want to fill up my tank. Maybe y'all are dudes, so like gas stations are scary. You get like, you can get killed there, especially if you're like a girl by yourself, like driving a big van, like you're just an immediate target. Yeah. And so
especially if
you might look like a threat if you're driving the big van.
I know, but like I'm with a pee pee poo poo sweatshirt. Like I do not I'm not a threat. But yeah, so yeah, I don't like going to gas stations. I will do whatever I can to not have to stop. Like most guys will be like, okay, there's like the thing where the husband gets in the wife's car and it's always like on empty. That's me. Like I will die before I want to fill up my tank. Yeah. So
that definitely happens every time
yeah.
I get in my wife's car.
Yeah.
Happened this morning actually.
Yeah.
I had to go fill it up. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Kaitlin, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
We'll let you go and do sound check.
Yeah.
But like I said, can't thank you enough for coming on.
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about the new album with y'all when I can. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll hold you to that.
Yeah, no, I will. Y'all are, because y'all do research and y'all are sweet and you ask good questions, that like, what else do you want? You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.